may I ask the Ombudsman, bakit po yung, insofar as your case statistics are concerned, from 2020, your conviction rate was 61.2%. It went down to, in 2022, to 26.5%. May I know what caused this drop insofar as your conviction rate is concerned?
Ito po yung sinasabi ko kanina, the unfair evaluation of the Office of the Ombudsman, where our performance is based on the conviction rate. The Office of the Ombudsman functions as a prosecutor and not as a judge. We should not be judged on the number of convictions that we have. So wag naman kami sasabihin, i-rate kami on the basis of our performance as conviction sa court. Hindi ko kami ang husgado eh.
Hindi ko naman po hinuhusgahan yung conviction rate ng kwan. But at the outset, I would like to laud the Ombudsman kasi siya lang po ang agency na nagsasabi he can live with his budget. Wala pa po akong naririnig na head of agency, head of department, na nagsasabi he will live with the budget given him by the government. So, congratulations po, Ombudsman Samuel Martires. Now, the COA at saka yung Ombudsman, they are supposed to be the guardians or the agencies primordially responsible for our anti-corruption operations insofar as our government is concerned. Sana po magkaroon po ng cooperation yung COA at saka Ombudsman kasi kailangan po silang mag-coordinate para po dun sa mga kaso na dapat ma-file sa korte. Because I agree with the Ombudsman when he stated na yung endemic na po ang corruption. Why? Because in the Corruption Perception Index, among 6 ASEAN nations, tayo po ang pang-anim eh. Where Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, and Indonesia are above us insofar as Corruption Perception Index is concerned. Nandun po tayo sa huli. Now, may I ask the Ombudsman, bakit po yung, insofar as your case statistics are concerned, from 2020, your conviction rate was 61.2%. It went down to, in 2022, to 26.5%. May I know what caused this drop insofar as your conviction rate is concerned, Mr. Chair?
Your Honor, ito po yung sinasabi ko kanina, the unfair evaluation of the Office of the Ombudsman, where our performance is based on the conviction rate. The Office of the Ombudsman functions as a prosecutor and not as a judge. Whatever findings we have, insofar as we are concerned, there is probable cause. Insofar as we are concerned, our case is strong. The only problem is, pagdadating po sa husgado, iba po ang pananaw ng huwes, whether with the Sandigan Bayan or with the lower court. So, I reiterate that we should not be judged on the number of convictions that we have. Hindi naman kami pwedeng maging investigador, a prosecutor, and a judge all at the same time. So we stop at the role of being a prosecutor, investigator, and a prosecutor. So ito lang po ang hinihiling ko, not only in Congress, but also with those who would rate the Office of the Ombudsman, especially Transparency International, some agencies of the United Nations. Wag naman kami sasabihin, i-rate kami on the basis of our performance as conviction sa court. Hindi ko kami ang husgado eh. Kami ay prosecutor. We cannot tell the justices of the Sandigan Bayan or the judge of the Regional Trial Court, i-convict ninyo. Of course, we cannot do that. In much the same way, not if we secure conviction from the Sandigan Bayan, the accused goes up to the Supreme Court, ibang pananaw ng Supreme Court, reverses the Sandigan Bayan, and convicts the accused. Marami yung ganyan eh, or acquits the accused. So, I find it so unfair that the Office of the Ombudsman or our fight against corruption is based on the number of convictions ano na lang ho ang nangyari sa mga pinaghirapan, pinagpawisang mga investigasyon sa mga kaso, where we even go to the extent of going to Patikul. We go to the extent of, going to, in fact, one of my prosecutors, one of my investigators has to resign. He was threatened by a mayor in Region 6. Nanghihingi po siya ng mga dokumento, sinigawan siya ng hindi niya alam na yun ang mayor. Tinanong siya, sino ka? Dahil hindi niya kilala, sumagot din siya, sino ka rin ba? So, from that time on, he was threatened by the mayor, he has to resign, and he's now in Canada. So, ito yung mga facts, mga realities na dinadaanan namin na hindi na-appreciate itong mga nagre-rate sa amin. Ang tinitingnan lang po yung conviction rate. Sana po wag yung conviction rate. Dahil kahit ano po ang sabihin namin, kahit i-assign ko dyan ang isang napakagaling na abogado, kumuha pa ho kami ng isang private lawyer na napakagaling, kung iba po ang pananaw ng husgado, wala kami magagawa. Sana husgahan kami sa aming disposal rate, sa number of cases that we dispose every year. Yun lang po, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hindi ko naman po hinuhusgahan yung conviction rate ng kwan. I just read the statistics insofar as your case statistics are concerned. But if we look at your evaluation rate, it's from 2020, it's 52.5%. It rose to 80.1% in 2022. Kita po naman dito sa statistics na ito. Kaya lang po nagiging curious po ako sa pagtatanong kung bakit ganito. So I find your answer logical, sir. So I will go to the next issue, which is your budget.
Sir, excuse me po. Ipagpaumanin po ninyo, pero I'm not pointing an accusing finger. Nakasanayan pong gawin ng mga tao sa ombudsman na gumawa ng ganiting report na inilalagay yung conviction rate. Ayoko na lang pong baguhin yon, baka magmukhang kontrabida po ako sa mga predecessors ko. Maraming pong salamat.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, if we look at the budget of the ombudsman, its cost structure would be 3.4 billion for general administration and support. It's because of their PS, and 30.2% or 1.5 billion for operations. Now, kung titingnan po natin yung operations budget nila, the bulk would go to anti-corruption investigation program. The second one would be anti-corruption enforcement program, and the third one would be corruption prevention program, which would take 6.4% of their operations budget, and 84.3 million for Ombudsman Public Assistance Program. May I just ask, Mr. Chair, bakit po yung prevention aspect dito ay mas maliit po ang budget kaysa dun sa anti-corruption investigation program at saka anti-corruption enforcement program? Hindi po pa dapat mas maganda yung gastusan na lang po natin ng mas malaki yung ating prevention, kasi we are preventing the commission of corrupt practices. Kung titingnan po natin, para bang ang emphasis natin is after the fact, hindi po yung prevention aspect, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, yung pong prevention program ng Ombudsman, this pertains po sa mga seminars o training programs na ginagawa namin sa kabataan and some various government offices. Para lang po sabihin sa kanila ano ng mga batas tungkol sa corruption o anti-corruption. Kaya medyo maliit lang po ang budget namin, kasi ang ginagastusan lang naman po doon yung materials at saka pagkain. Hindi na po kami nagbabayad ng mga resource persons dahil mayroon na po kami sariling resource persons within the office. So kaya medyo maliit lang po ang budget para doon.
Thank you. Would you agree with me, Mr. Chair, that we should increase the budget for corruption prevention? Kasi yun po ang kailangan natin i-prevent natin. Hindi po yung we act after the fact. Yun po yung aking punto lang. If I ask the personal opinion of the Honorable Ombudsman, would he agree to this?
Your Honor, 1,001% I agree with you.
Marami pong salamat, Your Honor, and Mr. Chair, marami pong salamat. Thank you.
Umani naman ito ng iba't ibang reaksyon mula sa ating mga netizens. Ayon kay Junior Aquino, sana lahat ng politiko pareho ni Mr. Ombudsman, may paninindigan sa sarili. Pahayag naman ni Boyet Lim, I salute you Sir Martires, kalmado lang at maraming alam sa batas. At ito naman ang saloobin mula sa ating kababayan na si Adela Julain, yung nagtatanong buhaya at sakim sa kapangyarihan, we salute Ombudsman Martires. Mga kababayan, feel free to comment below para maglabas ng saloobin sa balitang ito.